Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of War Thunder. We'll be looking at patch 1.45 today. 1.457.51. There's been some additional late patches. Now the biggest change in patch 1.45, American tanks. As you can see, I've already gone through them. I've got the M3 Stuart already, just going for the M2 now. A lot of tanks here. They've, obviously they haven't got the tank destroyer line, which is unfortunate, but they have done a lot of tanks. It's a good start for the American tech tree. Going from the M2 mediums and light tanks all the way up to the M103, the M47s. A lot of Shermans, a hell of a lot of Shermans if I'm honest. M6A1, tank I hadn't heard of, I'm going to have to look into that a bit more. I think they've done very well with this tech tree. But we're going to take an in-depth look at the whole of patch 1.45, which should be popping up in a second. So, as we can see here, here's patch 1.45. We've been through most of the changes before in my previous episodes. For example, here's the new vehicles. Now, they seem to be doing it in a... I'm not entirely sure how they're doing it, but it seems like they're unlocking them in stages. Because it says first stage of test. It says more information, but doesn't actually link to more information. But unlock tanks M2A4, M3, M3A1, and then 2 premiums. Medium tank M2, M3 in the Mark 1 Grant, which is also a premium, and the anti-air vehicle, the M13. USSR, the BT5 is a new reserve. SMK and the M4A2 are premiums. The 2 Panzer P, the Tiger Ps, the VK4501 and the BFW are both premiums. The Panzer IV-E is a new tank, new German tank, like in the, is it a medium tank, I think? And the Panzer III-J, again, another medium tank. I think they're both tier 1 or very low tier 2, can't quite remember. Some new ammunition has been added. Ability to fire machine guns being an important one. Artillery strike added to the Kugelblitz. Got a load of damage model changes for the ammunition. Basically, as you use your ammunition, it gets removed from the tank. As far as I'm aware, that wasn't happening, I'm guessing. So you could be firing off all your ammunition or taking less than full load, and it was still... But you would still count it as having a full load. So that will help if you take less ammunition or you use a lot of ammunition, which is good. Also changed some module positions, armouring. I haven't unlocked most of these tanks that they've changed. I am more of an aerial fighter or bomber person, so a lot of the tank changes won't mean an awful lot to me. This one will actually. In combat load increase from 320 to 1,000 shells. And you don't have to use tanks very much to know that is a massive increase for an anti-aircraft gun. Tiger II and the Panther II engines have been replaced with the HL234 engine project with 900 horsepower. Power. Even more power for your power, apparently. And Panther II transmission was replaced with one similar to those installed on the Tiger II. Don't know if that's better or worse. A lot of changes to the T-34-85 as well and the IS-3. Combat weight increased on the IS-3. I'm usually hearing that's quite an overpowered tank, so maybe that'll help out a little bit. Tow cables have been added. I've actually had this happen to me. I've been righted after being knocked over. It can be a bit tricky. I was righted quite quickly when I got knocked over, but the tank next to me also knocked over. It took about 3 minutes to get up, and it took the entire team, so we, lost that match. Artillery strike principles have been changed. I haven't used artillery, but it's a bit like, I think it's a bit like Call of Duty. You get your little map overlay, and you sort of choose where to call it in on the map, rather than the thing where you get that sort of bird's eye view of, so you can look over cover. Which was being abused a little bit. Repair assistance from teammates has been added. If you park up to someone who's repairing and start repairing yourself, that speeds up the repairs. Not sure how useful that will be, but we'll see. Ground vehicle behaviour on different surfaces and with collisions has been improved. Don't know how it's been improved, but I suppose that's good. Realistic and simulator battles, different combinations are now available for tank battles. USSR vs Germany, USSR vs USA, USA vs Germany, USSR USA vs Germany, and USSR Germany vs USA. So I assume we're going to get some more of those alternate history maps again, or scenarios, which, as long as it's not as bad as Hokkaido or whatever its name is. Now, moving on to aviation. As the title says, there were a few little changes with this. If we actually quickly load up my I've forgotten the name of it. The LASAR Q&A plane list I've got it listed as at the moment. It was basically, I've talked about it before, the document I did listing all the changes that were talked about in the LASAR Q&A thread. But as you can see here, we was told quite a few things were probably going to be in 1.45. The B, C and D BF-109s possibly 1.5. Wrong button. The F3F was also supposed to be 1.5. Focke-Wulf 190s, possibly the Focke-Wulf 200. It seems like it was a lot more ambitious, this patch originally, but it seems they had to remove a lot of stuff, unfortunately. So we only got a few planes. The F2H2 for the Americans, another jet. The Arado 234B2 was updated. I don't think it got its 20mm cannons like it was suggested in the Q&A thread, unfortunately. Russia got the I-16 Type 10. Britain got the Canberra BI Mark 6, a Canberra with 20mm cannons, I think 4 of them. Japan actually got some okay aircraft, the J2M3 and the Ki-43-3. Because Japan's always had not many aircraft, so it was good that they got them, and the J2M3 should definitely be quite helpful as well. Like, it's not just filler like with the I-16, for example. Enemy contacts that have been spotted by allies are now visible to players at a distance of up to 8 kilometres. So an additional 30%, which should help in realistic battles, hopefully, or simulator. I don't play a lot of simulators, so I'm not sure how it works there exactly. Telescopic sights have been added to some aircraft that could have them, similar to Sniper View that ground vehicles currently have. Haven't used that myself yet. Kill credit for realistic and simulator battles has been changed. If you shoot off the wing of or tail of an enemy who is not close to his airfield, they will be counted as immediately destroyed. Damage model has been overhauled. Shapes for inner and outer modules have been specified. I don't know if that's to do with the X-ray. We'll actually talk about X-ray in a minute, but hopefully this makes damage more realistic, hopefully. The mechanics for wing and tail loss and random spots have been added. I think I've actually seen that happen a little bit. I've lost like part of my wings without actually dying, though even in arcade I fall straight out of the sky. So I'm not sure how useful it's going to be. Fixed errors with new machine gun and new cannons. Overheat will occur a bit later than before and spread will be a lot smaller. And we've got a bunch of whole other changes. Mainly just tuning. A bug with vehicles with unretractable landing gear being mistaken by the instructor for being released by the players themselves, which resulted in landing flaps being deployed. Quite awkward. Flight model has been updated for the D3A1, added takeoff motor engine. No idea what that means. Bunch of new decals and camouflages. Camouflages that were temporarily unavailable for selections have been returned. Achievements have been added to unlock them. People who own these vehicles and log into the game in the first week after 1.45 has been released will have these camouflages added for free. I should definitely have the H6 torpedo plane camouflage. I'll have to check if I've unlocked it or got it back. We've got new locations and missions. Ground Forces and Aviation location for Right Rock Fortress and Eastern Europe. And Battle for Moscow for Aviation. New dynamic campaigns, Guam, Saipan, or Guam, Saipan, Iwo Jima, Moscow, Khalkhin Gol, and Honolulu. My apologies if I've mispronounced any of these. I thought Khalkhin Gol was actually already there, but apparently not. New missions. Tractor Factory and besides the Kursk Salient. I think they're like the events you get, because I haven't actually seen them pop up on my single missions. And it talks about single player and co-op missions for the Moscow map as a separate thing, so I'm guessing they're like events or something. Changes to custom battles for certain maps have been merged into one and can be set in custom battles mode. Not sure what that means. Change route to engagement for teams in Domination and Conquest mode on Mozdok in Realistic Battle mode. Domination and Conquest Arcade mode Poland map, one of the capture points has been moved. Breakthrough mode has been added on most of the tank maps, where players will need to capture a series of points one after another and prevent an enemy team from capturing their points. Here's the list of maps with that. Mozdok, Carpathians, Eastern Europe, Jungle, Kuban. I actually like the sound of the Breakthrough mode. I never actually got chance to play it when it was an event, unfortunately. Balance fixes for Carpathians map. Transitions between levels of detail has been improved, and rendering aircraft and tank models has been optimised. Haven't noticed that much of a difference for myself, but again, I don't have a particularly good computer or laptop, so kind of explains why probably. New hangar and to battle button interface. I'll probably show you this in a sec, but they've changed how do you get to battle and all that. Graphical settings that previously needed client restarts to be applied will now be applied automatically for some of them. Show the status of the tank modules button assignment, now renamed to show status of vehicle modules, and show status of tank modules button assignment now moved from tank controls to miscellaneous. Show status of tank models buttons assigned to OBOT for default, and a bunch of PS4. We also got some late additions to 1.45. You can see here, engine sound after engine repair fixed. Many stability fixes, up 1.45 late additions. Flight models for the Spitfire Mark 9 or LF Mark 9, Mark 16, 14, 18, 22 and 24 have been updated. Flight model for the BF-109F has been updated. And the flight model for the B-7A2 has been updated. Radiator drag has been reduced, air brakes have been set up, added destruction of the flaps and gear from airspeed pressure. I assume that wasn't happening for whatever reason. So all in all, it does sound like a good patch, but like I said, there have been fewer missions. Well, we talked about the aircraft, which to be fair, that was never set in stone for all of them, but it was sort of suggested strongly that some of them would be coming in 1.45. The fact they didn't, I think maybe Gaijin were perhaps a little pressured to release this before New Year. I think there may have been some delays. I think 1.43 was delayed from something like August to October, so everything else has been shifted back like 2 months. We was originally meant to get the Italian tech tree about this time, so that's been delayed as well, apparently. But it's also been other emissions. Now, the X-ray mode, which I showed you before, just dropping my bombs. If we go to controls, miscellaneous, just try and find the button. Now, I've just quickly looked through it, and it told us the tank modules button was moved here, but can't find it here. But if we go to tank control, or is it in general, basic? No, sorry, it's in basic. Show the status of the vehicle modules. I've set mine up to the dash or minus key. And I'm clicking it, I'm holding it, I'm pressing O, I'm holding O. It's not there. For whatever reason, it was simply not added in patch 1.45. I've no idea why. It was working. It seemed to be working when I used it in the dev server. Either it wasn't working for all aircraft, or maybe some unforeseen glitch came up a few seconds there. But for whatever reason, it simply hasn't been added. I don't think we got drop tanks either, I think, or rocket assisted takeoff. Again, it was sort of strongly suggested we would get them 1.45, I think. we were meant to get in 1.43 originally, unless I'm mistaken. So far it has been a good patch. I've had a lot of fun with the American tanks that I have had use of. But, yeah, it's not quite everything we was told we were getting. Now, to be fair, I'm not knocking Gaijin. They've done a hell of a lot with the patch because of the American tanks. I just think they maybe overpromised a little bit in some regards. Or maybe they've hinted a little too strongly certain areas. Almost forgot to actually show it. Here's the new 2 battle button. I've heard it's similar to the World of Tank ones. I haven't actually played World of Tanks in probably a year, so I don't know how true that is. But basically, you can choose your different battles. Your air realistic, air simulator. It shows you which nations are available. For example, so you've got American, German, and Soviets available for realistic battles. Squadron, arcade, and realistic events, custom battles, events and tournaments, select servers. Also, one very bad thing about this patch. As you see, I clicked to battle, didn't repair my B-17. You now have to manually repair all of your aircraft before you go into battle. Before it would tell you have unrepaired aircraft and would prompt you to repair them. Now it doesn't. It just sends you into battle and you don't realise until you're actually in battle and you can't use that aircraft. So that's probably like the most annoying thing about this patch. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry it's a day late this episode. Haven't had a chance to really get the video up until today. So yeah, sorry about that. But thank you for watching. Leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you like these sorts of videos. Leave feedback. Can always do with feedback. Leave in the comment section what your favourite bit of the patch is. Mine's definitely the American tanks, but you may have different opinions. Just showing you the American tech tree quickly. Yeah, so thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.